What is up? What is up? We are going to see today what's actually going on over here in New York City with the minimum wage. So this video here says that fast food workers are making more than rookie cops and EMT. So, I mean, let's just take a gander, dive right in and see what's actually going on.
Statewide minimum wage hike for fast food workers is now set at $20 an hour. It was designed to help struggling employees.
Businesses are cutting shifts, customers are paying higher prices, and more machines are replacing workers.
Okay.
Flashback. And it's why I've pledged to increase the minimum wage to $30 an hour by
guy.
2030.
Absolutely. Well, there's studies that have found that actually to cover your base expenses here, you would need $38 an hour, just over.
So here we
yeah.
again, Mayor Mom.
New York's not cheap. You know, New York is not cheap. So honestly, everybody needs to get paid more. What that's going to have to look like is like the people at the top getting paid less. I mean, the money doesn't come from nowhere. So it needs to be a redistribution of the amount of money that everybody's actually taking home. But let's see.
Donnie moving closer to making his progressive dream a reality. His campaign promise to make New York City home to the nation's highest minimum wage is now headed to City Council for approval.
$30 an hour minimum wage sounds amazing
Yeah.
until you look at the details.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Nate the lawyer.
Let's set some baseline facts and look at the good and bad arguments for raising the minimum wage to $30 an hour.
Okay, let's do it.
This is Mayor Zoran Mandami, and he's a Democratic socialist. And his campaign was built around these commercials promising the government is going to give you everything for free.
Yeah.
We're going to do that by freezing the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants, by making the slowest buses in the country fast and free.
It's free, right?
And by delivering universal child care to each and every New York family, whether their child is 6 weeks or 5 years of age.
And I will say this, like, if you can do all of this, that's amazing. That's amazing for the people of the city. And that'd be something that, you know, cities across the nation would be able to look at and try to replicate. The thing is, I just don't know how this actually gets done. You know, that's the main thing. Like, how does this actually happen?
It's free, right?
We will do this because our North Star is a relentless focus on an economic agenda. And it's why I've pledged to increase the minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030.
Okay.
Free, right? Now let's set some baseline facts and look at the good and bad fairly. New York City Council member Sandy Nurse is introducing this bill to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour by 2030. Here
Right.
she is explaining why she's doing it.
About over a million New Yorkers who work at the current minimum wage, which is $17 per hour.
Wow.
At $17 per hour, you're taking home maybe $2,000 a month after taxes. You're basically surviving on $500 a week.
Wow.
And in the most expensive city in the world, almost on the planet, that's not a livable wage.
And she also put forward.
So what are
that,
people
hey,
doing right now?
we ra-
Like, what are people doing in New York that work minimum wage? Like, what? I don't know. I don't live in New York, but this is all over the news. And how are people even getting by? That's what I want to know.
Raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour before, we didn't see all the horrors that were predicted by raising the minimum wage.
When we raised the wage from $7.25 to $15 an hour, what we saw was significant pay increases without job losses. So paying higher wages works for businesses, it works for small businesses, and it allows workers to stay here.
Now, you can't sit here and tell me that didn't all sound good, all right? You had the historical argument. When they doubled the minimum wage before, it didn't kill jobs. You got the moral argument. People can't survive off of the now $17 an hour minimum wage. There are good intentions here, right? It sounds like a lifeline to people at the lower end of the spectrum. But now we have to look at how the economic theory actually collides with this modern reality.
Break it
Starting
down,
with
Nate.
the city's own payroll. Now, when you hear the terms minimum wage, you immediately start thinking about teenagers slipping burgers in some burger joint, right? Or somebody packing bags at a supermarket. But would you think police officers make less than minimum wage? What about sanitation workers? What about 60 to 70% of the city's own workforce make less than $30 an hour? Starting at rookie police.
Really? Well, I mean, this is a bigger issue altogether. Where's all the money going in New York? It's not going to the people. Where is it?
Officers for the NYPD make between $27 and $29 an hour starting. If you're a sanitation worker in New York, you're starting at $21 an hour. So by making minimum wage $30 an hour, that's every city employee now is at $30 an hour. But that's not where the problem ends. Let me go back to the example of the Fire Department of New York's Emergency Medical Services Lieutenant. That's the supervisor. They make $79,000 a year, which is roughly about $38 an hour. Now, if they're rookie EMTs, go from $19 an hour starting to $30 an hour, what do you think the lieutenant is going to ask for? Now, if you can do the math, you'll see the supervisor makes about double of what a rookie EMT does. But now if you're...
This really doesn't sound like a problem to me. The thing that it looks like is the cost of living in New York City has drastically increased since the last time that anybody has had a livable wage in this city. And so now we're at the point to where every single established salary job that's in the city isn't what it should be compared to the cost of living for the city. So either the salary goes up or the cost of living goes down. One or the two.
Rookie EMT is going up from $19 to $30 an hour. Then does the lieutenant go from $38 an hour to $60 an hour? This will essentially trigger this massive cascade across the entire city government.
Exactly.
And you gotta remember, this is 60 to 70% of the city's own employees. And with that being said, the city is already facing a $5.4 billion budget deficit. So
How?
was this taken into account? Because
How is there a budget deficit when you don't pay anybody any money? It doesn't make sense. If everybody is getting severely underpaid, where are you spending the money? The money's not going out in salary. So how do you run through the budget? And how does New York City exceed the budget? It's like the capitalist capital of America, New York. How does the city of New York run out of money?
this is going to explode the budget also.
Tragic.
And that's just with the city government. We still haven't even gotten to the private sector yet. Now, remember when the councilwoman brought up the fact that when minimum wage was raised from $7 to $15, that there wasn't this mass firings and businesses seem to have done okay?
Yeah, I remember
When
that.
we raised the wage from $7.25 to $15 an hour, what we saw was significant pay increases
Here it is right
without
here.
job losses.
Well, here's some history that she didn't mention. In California, they raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour. So more than the $15 to $17 that are in New York City right now. And this is what happened in California.
Statewide minimum wage hike for fast food workers is now set at $20 an hour. It was designed to help struggling employees, but a new study from UC Santa Cruz suggests it may be doing the complete opposite.
The
Wow.
study shows more people are applying for fast food jobs, but many are not seeing increased hours or even securing employment at all. It also finds businesses are cutting shifts, customers are paying higher prices, and more machines are replacing workers.
When companies have to pay even beginners at least $20 an hour.
Pizza Hut preemptively laid off 1,200 delivery drivers like Michael Ojeda.
Jesus.
Raise if you don't have a job anymore.
18,000 fast food jobs vanished.
That's crazy.
While other states.
I mean, we live in a capitalist society where if it's a mandatory to pay somebody X amount of money, and the company doesn't want to fork that out in their budget that they have for employees, then you know the only other thing that's going to happen is people are going to lose their job.
It's added jobs. Also, consumers have to pay more.
Restaurants in the state have increased prices by 10% faster than all other states.
Before the wage increase, they had a certain amount of hours. They're going to end up with the same check because their hours are severely decreased.
This recent study found that more people are applying for these higher paying jobs, but few are getting hired because there are only a few of these jobs. Many companies are now turning to automation like self-service kiosks and mobile ordering. Even with fewer employees,
seen 'em.
restaurants are charging more
I've
to
used
pay
'em.
those employees more.
So as you see, California went up to 20. They didn't even go up to 30. And they got less jobs, higher prices. It's the horror show. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Now, let's keep it 100. Right, these politicians are pushing these massive minimum wage hikes because it buys them votes. It sounds incredibly empathetic on a commercial. I completely understand the frustration of working 40 hours a week and it being tough to pay your rent. It's a real crisis, but you can't regulate your way out of basic math. See, when you force mom and pop shops to double labor costs, they have to raise the price of the goods. So the guy who just got a raise at $30 an hour is now walking into the grocery store and paying double for the gallon of milk. It's the hidden tax of the working class. And the raises get completely canceled out by the inflation it creates. And in this example, I'm paying more for the milk because you have to pay more for the cost of labor. Okay, so we can make some predictions about what's going to happen in the future here.
It's not looking good.
Businesses are eventually going to have to close their doors because they can't afford the overhead. Their labor costs essentially are going to double. Or when a teenager in a low-income neighborhood can't find a starter job because a touchscreen kiosk has taken its place because it just became so much more affordable to replace the person behind the counter with a machine. Now, one last devastating
way more
effect of
affordable.
having minimum wages that are way too high is that inherently it does cause more unemployment. That's what happened in California. They lost jobs. So is a $30 minimum wage going to save the working class in New York City? Or is it just going to bankrupt the city and everyone else? And as always, tell me where I'm wrong in the comment section. Tell me that $30 minimum wage is not enough. It needs to be like...
Nate, that was a good video. It really leaves us with a lot to think about. So I'm going to leave a link down to the main video, the original video below. I'm also going to add him. You can go to his channel, show it some love. But yeah, I mean, there has to be an answer to people not being able to afford to live. We have to find a solution to that. But at the same time, it can't cause more problems when we do roll out a solution. And, you know, if it works for New York, it can work for other places. So I wish them all the best. But right now, I just don't see how they're going to do it. But yeah, I will see y'all on the next one.